Armin Blake had done many dangerous jobs before. He had escorted diplomats through war zones. He had guarded scientists on dead planets. He had even protected a cargo ship full of alien weapons, but this job felt different. The message he received was short: private escort mission. 2 alien civilians. High pay, no questions. Armin did not like jobs with no questions. Still, the payment was too high to ignore. The location was strange. An old corporate tower in the center of Neo City. The building looked normal from outside. Glass walls. Bright lights. Busy streets. But inside, it was almost empty. A silent elevator waited for him. He stepped inside. The doors closed. He did not press any button. The elevator started moving down. Floor 10. Floor 5. Floor 0. Then Floor -1. Floor -5. Floor -20. Armin frowned. This building did not have underground floors. The blue lights inside the elevator flickered. The metal walls reflected his black combat armor. His helmet rested under his arm. His face stayed calm, but his hand slowly moved near the small pulse pistol at his side. The elevator stopped. The doors opened. Cold air touched his face. It was not a basement. It was a clean white room glowing with soft blue light. And inside the room stood 2 figures. They were not human. They had purple skin, smooth and bright under the light. Both had long pointed ears. Both had bright magenta hair. They looked almost identical. Twins. They wore simple white robes. Their expressions were calm. Too calm. The one in the center smiled slightly. The other watched him carefully, her eyes sharp. Armin stepped out of the elevator. Behind him, the doors closed. Then the elevator disappeared. The wall became solid metal. No. Way back, he noticed it immediately. So, Armin said quietly, "I guess this is not a normal escort job." The smiling twin tilted her head. "No, Mr. Blake, it is not." Her voice was soft but confident. The serious twin stepped closer. "You were hired to escort us," she said. "But not to another building." Armin crossed his arms. "Then where?" The smiling twin's eyes glowed slightly brighter. "To safety." A hologram suddenly appeared in the air. It showed Earth. Then red light started blinking across the planet. Military bases. Cities. Satellites. Quotes all under watch, the serious twin said. "By who?" Armin asked. The twins looked at each other. Then the smiling one answered, "By our enemies." Armin stayed silent. He had heard rumors. Alien species had visited Earth quietly for years. Some friendly, some not. But most humans did not know the truth. "We are from the Valari Union," the serious twin explained. "Our people have protected Earth from outside threats for over a century." "Protected?" Armin said. "No one told us." "That was the agreement," the smiling twin replied. "Humans were not ready." Armin almost laughed. "Humans are never ready. But we survive anyway." The twins studied him carefully, almost like they were testing him. Suddenly the lights in the room flickered red. A warning sound echoed. The serious twin looked up. "They found us." The hologram changed. Large dark ships appeared in orbit around Earth. Unknown design, sharp shapes, weapons glowing. Armin's eyes narrowed. "Those don't look friendly." "They are not," the smiling twin said. "They are hunters." "Hunters? Of what?" Armin asked. The serious twin looked directly into his eyes. "Of us." Armin slowly put on his helmet. The black armor around his body activated with a soft hum. Blue lines of energy moved across his chest and arms. "You said this was an escort job," he said calmly. "So where am I escorting you?" The smiling twin stepped closer, through the city, to a hidden gateway. "And after that?" She smiled again. "That depends on you." Suddenly the white wall behind them exploded. Metal pieces flew across the room. 3 armored figures stepped inside. Tall, dark suits, Red glowing visors. Not human. Their weapons charged with purple energy. Armin reacted instantly. He pushed both twins down behind a metal table. A blast of energy hit the wall behind him. The room shook. Armin rolled forward and fired his pulse pistol. One attacker fell. The other two moved fast. Too fast for normal soldiers. The serious twin whispered something in a strange language. A thin shield of light formed around her and her sister. "You can fight," she said. Armin did not answer. He was already moving. He grabbed a broken metal panel and threw it at one attacker's head. The alien staggered. Armin rushed forward and slammed his armored shoulder into its chest. The floor cracked under the impact. The second attacker aimed at his back, but the smiling twin raised her hand. Wave of blue energy hit the alien and threw it across the room. Silence. Smoke filled the air. The attackers did not move. Armin turned slowly toward the twins. "You said civilians." The serious twin stood up. "We are. Civilians don't throw soldiers across rooms with their minds." The smiling twin stepped closer to him. Her expression was no longer playful. "You were hired to escort alien twins," she said softly. "That is true." Armin looked at the destroyed wall. At the alien bodies. At the red warning lights flashing outside. "Then what else is true?" he asked. The serious twin answered this time. "We are not only twins." She paused. "We are the last royal daughters of the Valari Empire." Armin stared at them. Outside, distant explosions shook the city above. More hunters were arriving. The smiling twin looked into his visor. "And if we fall tonight," she said quietly, "Earth will fall with us." Armin checked his weapon. Multiple enemy signals were approaching. He gave a small nod. "All right," he said. "Let's finish this escort job." But deep inside, he knew something. This was never just an escort mission. And the twins? They definitely had something else in mind. The city above them was burning. Sirens screamed in the distance. The ground shook with heavy explosions. Armin stood in the broken white room, smoke rising around him. The alien bodies on the floor were already turning into dark dust. The twins stood quietly behind him. But now, something had changed. They were no longer pretending to be weak. "You said royal daughters," Armin said calmly. "Royal daughters of what exactly?" The serious twin stepped forward. "Of a fallen empire." The smiling twin added softly, "And of a secret that involves you." Armin did not like the sound of that. "I don't work for secrets," he replied. "No." The serious twin said, "You were born for one." Another explosion shook the building. The lights went out. Only the blue energy lines on. Armin's armor lit the darkness. The smiling twin raised her hand. A glowing symbol appeared in the air. The floor beneath them opened. A hidden platform rose up from below. "Follow us," she said. Armin did not move for a second. Then he followed. If they wanted him dead, they already had chances. The platform lowered deep underground. Far deeper than before. Finally, it stopped inside a massive chamber. This place was not human. Tall curved walls made of silver metal. Strange alien symbols glowing softly. In the center stood a tall crystal pillar filled with blue light. Armin looked around. "This is not under any city map." "No," the serious twin said. "It is older than your government's." The smiling twin walked toward the crystal pillar. She placed her hand on it. The pillar reacted instantly. It scanned her. Then it projected a hologram of Earth again. But this time, the image zoomed in. It focused on one small detail. A symbol. The same symbol glowing faintly on Armin's armor. He looked down at his chest. The blue lines were moving faster now. "What is this?" he asked. The serious twin looked directly at him. "That armor you wear, it is not fully human technology." Armin's jaw tightened. "It was built by a private defense company. Funded by us," the smiling twin said calmly. Silence. "You're telling me," Armin said slowly. That I've been wearing alien tech without knowing it? Yes. And you thought that was okay? The serious twin answered, you survived every mission. Every test. Every near-death moment. Armin stared at them. Test? The crystal pillar changed again. Now it showed old images. Ancient battles in space. Huge fleets. Human soldiers fighting beside purple-skinned warriors. Then dash betrayal. Human ships destroyed. A royal symbol broken in half. Thousands of years ago. The serious twin said, humans were not weak. They were leaders, the smiling twin added. They ruled together with our people. Armin shook his head. That's impossible. Human history was rewritten, the serious twin said firmly, after the Great War. The images showed a powerful human warrior wearing armor very similar to Armin's. Same. Blue energy. Same symbol. That was the first human king, the smiling twin whispered. He died protecting both our species. Armin felt something strange. His armor grew warmer. The symbol on his chest began to glow brighter. That symbol, the serious twin said, is tied to royal blood. The crystal pillar suddenly shot a beam of light at Armin. His body froze. Energy scanned through him. Warning symbols flashed across the chamber walls. DNA confirmed. A deep mechanical voice echoed. Royal human bloodline detected. Silence filled the chamber. Armin slowly lowered his helmet. This is a joke. It is not, the smiling twin said. You are the last living descendant of the first king. Suddenly the entire chamber shook violently. The ceiling cracked. Dust fell from above. They tracked us here. The serious twin shouted. Red warning lights filled the chamber. The hologram changed again. Dozens of enemy ships were now landing. Across the city, one massive ship hovered directly above their location. A cold voice echoed through hidden speakers. Valari princesses. Surrender the human heir. Armin looked at the twins. Heir? He repeated. The smiling twin looked at him with no smile now. They want you alive. Why? Because, the serious twin said, activating a long blade of blue light in her hand. Only royal human blood can activate the throne core. And whoever controls the throne core, the smiling twin finished, controls every ancient human war weapon hidden across the galaxy. Armin stared at them. Now he understood. This was never just about escorting twins. It was about control. Power. A forgotten empire. The chamber doors exploded inward. Heavy armored hunters rushed inside, more advanced than before, more dangerous. Armin slowly put his helmet back on. The blue energy around his armor flared brighter than ever. So, he said calmly, you hired me to protect you. The serious twin stood beside him. Yes. The smiling twin raised her glowing hands. But now we must protect you. Armin looked at the incoming army. A small smile formed under his helmet. They should have stayed in space, he said quietly. The first wave of hunters charged, and this time, the human air did not hold back. The chamber did not fall. It transformed. When the hunters rushed in, the silver walls around Armin suddenly shifted. Panels moved like living metal. The blue crystal in the center rose higher, glowing brighter than before. The enemy soldiers froze for 1 second. That 1 second was enough. Armin moved first. He did not charge forward. This time he stepped back. He let them come. The first hunter fired a purple blast. It hit Armin's chest. But instead of exploding, the energy bent around him. The symbol on his armor absorbed it. The chamber reacted. A deep ancient voice echoed through the air. Royal signal. Confirmed. Defensive protocol active. From the walls, hidden weapons appeared. Old weapons. Human weapons. But far more advanced than anything on Earth today. The hunters looked confused. The serious twin whispered. The throne core is responding to him. The smiling twin stared at Armin. No, it is obeying him. The floor changed into a glowing battlefield grid. Red lines under the hunters. Blue lines under Armin. The system had chosen sides. Armin felt information rushing into his mind. Maps. Enemy weak points. Weapon patterns. It was not painful. It felt natural. Like remembering something he had forgotten long ago. Hunter jumped toward him with a blade. Armin stepped aside. Without even looking, he grabbed the alien's arm and twisted. The armor moved perfectly. With him, smooth, strong. Precise. The hunter hit the ground hard. Another one attacked from behind. Before Armin turned, the chamber fired a thin beam of light and disabled the attacker. The system voice spoke again. Air status rising. Command authority expanding. Armin did not understand everything, but he understood one thing. This place was not just protecting him. It was waiting for him. More hunters entered. Heavier armor, bigger weapons. One of them stepped forward, taller than the rest. His armor was dark, silver, marked with red symbols. He removed his helmet. His skin was pale gray. His eyes were black. "I am Commander Vale," he said calmly. He did not look afraid. "You carry blood that should not exist." Armin faced him. "I hear that a lot today." Vale looked at the twins. "You used him too early." The serious twin tightened her grip on her blade. "We had no choice." Vale smiled slightly. "There is always a choice." He raised his hand. The smaller hunters stopped attacking. "This is bigger than Earth," Vale continued. "The throne core was sealed for a reason." The smiling twin stepped forward. "Because your people lost the war." Vale's eyes darkened. "No, because humans did." Silence filled the chamber. Armin watched carefully. Vale looked directly at him. "Do you even know what your ancestor did?" the commander asked. Armin said nothing. Vale continued. "The first king did not just fight in the Great War. He ended it." The chamber lights flickered. The crystal pillar pulsed faster. "What do you mean?" Armin asked. Vale's voice lowered. "He destroyed entire star systems." The twins went silent. Vale pointed toward the crystal. "That device does not only control weapons, it controls extinction." The system voice interrupted. "Warning. Enemy fleet preparing orbital strike." The hologram above them showed a massive beam charging from the main ship in orbit. Target locked. Directly above the chamber. Impact in 2 minutes. The serious twin looked at Armin. "If that beam fires, this city will be gone." The smiling twin added softly, "and the core will fall into their hands." Vale folded his arms. "You see, human, you are not a king. You are a weapon." Armin felt the energy in his armor rising. His heart was steady. His mind was clear. For the first time since this mission started, he stopped reacting. And started thinking. He looked at the crystal pillar, then at the orbital beam charging in the sky. Then at Commander Vale. "You came all this way," Armin said slowly, "not to kill me." Vale did not answer. "You need me alive," Armin continued, "because only I can control this thing." Vale's silence confirmed it. Armin nodded slightly. "Then you made a mistake." The twins looked at him. "What mistake?" the serious twin asked. Armin's eyes focused. "You gave me time." He stepped toward the crystal pillar. The system scanned him again. This time, it did not just confirm his blood. It opened deeper access. Ancient controls appeared around him in blue light. Codes. Commands. Weapons hidden across space. Defense shields, planetary barriers. The smiling twin whispered, "He is syncing with it." The orbital beam fired. Massive column of energy shot down from space. The chamber shook violently. But just before impact, Sarman gave his first command. "Activate planetary shield." The crystal exploded with blue light. A giant energy dome formed above the city. The orbital beam hit the shield. The sky turned white. Buildings trembled. But the city did not burn. Silence followed. Even Commander Vale looked shocked. The system voice changed, stronger now, clearer. Throne core fully awakened. Supreme command authority transferred to human air. Every weapon in the chamber powered up. Every system waited for one order. Arman slowly turned toward Vale. He did not look angry. He looked calm. "You said I was a weapon," Arman said quietly. "Maybe." He stepped forward, blue energy flowing around him like fire, but humans don't exist to destroy. His voice hardened. "We exist to survive." Outside, hundreds of hidden defense satellites activated in orbit. Enemy ships began losing power. Commander Vale's confident expression faded for the first time. Arman gave one final command: disable their fleet. High above Earth, ancient weapons older than history fired silently, and the hunters' ships began to fall. The sky above the city was silent. Broken enemy ships burned as they fell through the clouds. The blue planetary shield slowly faded away. Inside the hidden chamber, everything was still glowing. The throne core was fully awake, and it was connected to Arman. Thin lines of blue light moved across his armor like living veins. His eyes reflected the same cold glow. He stood in the center of the chamber, breathing slowly. The twins watched him carefully. Commander Vale was on his knees, surrounded by energy restraints, but no one spoke, because something else was happening. Arman suddenly grabbed his head. Not in pain, in confusion. Images flooded his mind. Stars. War. Massive fleets colliding in deep space. A throne made of silver and light, and a man wearing armor just like his, but the man's face. It was his face. The chamber darkened. The crystal pillar pulsed once, then everything changed. The walls disappeared. The floor vanished. Arman was no longer standing in the chamber. He was standing in space. Not physically, but mentally. A memory world. The twins could see it too. The core had pulled them inside the memory. Commander Vale's eyes widened. "No," he whispered. "It's replaying." Before them stood the first human king. Tall. Calm. Armor glowing brighter than a star. Around him were ships from many species. Humans. VLAR. Others. Unknown. The king raised his hand, and entire enemy fleets were erased in blue light. Arman felt the power, the control, the weight of command. But then, the memory shifted. The king stood alone. In front of a massive device. The same throne core, but bigger, more dangerous. A voice echoed in the memory. "If we continue this war, the galaxy will burn." It was a Valari voice, a royal voice. The first king replied calmly, "Then I will end it." Arman felt something heavy in his chest. The memory moved faster. The king activated the core. A wave of energy spread across the stars. Enemy fleets vanished, but so did entire star systems. Billions of lives gone in seconds. Not just enemies. Everything. The war ended that day, because no one dared fight again. But the cost was too high. The galaxy feared humans after that. Not respected. Feared. The memory faded. The chamber returned. Arman dropped to one knee, breathing hard. The twins were silent. Vale looked at him with cold understanding. "Now you know," Vale said quietly. "You are not just heir to a throne. You are heir to a weapon of extinction." The serious twin stepped forward. "Our people sealed the core after that day," she said softly. "We erased the truth from history." The smiling twin's voice was no longer playful. "We hid the human bloodline to protect the galaxy from fear." Arman slowly stood up. His mind was clearer now. He understood why Earth was left alone, why humans were pushed back to a simple world. It was not punishment. It was protection. Suddenly the chamber shook again, but this time it was not from outside. The throne core reacted to Arman's emotions. The blue light shifted to deep red. Warning symbols flashed everywhere. Emotional instability detected. Extinction protocol available. The room temperature dropped. Energy gathered above the crystal. A projection appeared in space above Earth. Target. Markers. Star systems. Enemy territories. One command, and they would be erased. The smiling twin stepped closer. Armin, breathe. The serious twin lowered her weapon. This is the moment that destroyed the first king. Commander Vale did not struggle against his restraints. He simply watched. If you press that command, Vale said calmly, no one will ever challenge humanity again. Silence filled the chamber. The power around Armin grew stronger. He could feel it. He could end every threat in 1 second. No more hunters. No more fear. No more war. But he also felt something else. The memory of billions. Lost. The empty stars. The silence after victory. Armin looked at the twins. You brought me here, he said quietly. Did you want a king? The smiling twin hesitated. We wanted hope. The serious twin answered honestly, we wanted protection. Armin looked at Vale. And you? Vale's voice was steady. I wanted to make sure history did not repeat. The core pulsed again. Waiting. The galaxy was balanced on one human decision. Armin stepped toward the crystal. His hand hovered above the control light. Blue and red. Energy mixed around him. He closed his eyes for 1 second. When he opened them, the red light disappeared. The chamber returned to calm blue. The extinction protocol vanished. The system voice changed. Extinction command rejected. New directive required. Armin looked up at the hologram of the galaxy. No more kings, he said quietly. The twins watched him closely. No more rulers. He continued. His voice was firm now. If humans rise again, it will not be through fear. He touched the crystal. New commands appeared. Defense systems. Shield. Networks. Alliance signals. He gave a different order. Broadcast peace signal to every system. The core obeyed. A wave of blue light spread into space. Not a weapon. A message humanity had returned. But not as conquerors as guardians, Commander. Vale stared at him. You are nothing like your ancestor, Vale said softly. Armin looked at the fading stars on the hologram. No, he replied. I learned from his mistake. But deep inside the core, one hidden system remained active, a locked protocol. Ancient. Silent. Waiting. And it had just begun to wake up. The peace signal traveled across the galaxy like a soft blue wave. Warships stopped firing. Satellites powered down. Enemy fleets drifted in silence. For the first time in centuries, space was quiet. Inside the hidden chamber, the throne core glowed calmly. Armin stood in front of it, breathing steady. The red extinction lights were gone. Only blue remained. Twins looked relieved. Commander Vale lowered his head slightly. It seems, Vale said quietly, the galaxy chose the right heir. But the throne core did not agree. Deep inside its structure, something moved. Not blue, not red. Black. A low sound filled the chamber. Not loud, but heavy, like something old waking up. The crystal pillar flickered. The system voice returned, but it was different. Colder. Deeper. Hidden protocol detected. The serious twin froze. That is not possible, she whispered. The smiling twin stepped back. We sealed every forbidden system. The core pulsed again. This time the floor beneath Armin cracked slightly. Symbols appeared that no one had seen. Before. Ancient. Sharp. Wrong. Commander. Vale's face turned pale. No, he said slowly. The sovereign protocol. Armin looked at him. What is that? Vale's voice was tight. The failsafe. For what? Armin asked. Vale swallowed. For you. The chamber lights dimmed. The hologram above them changed. Not to ships. Not to stars. To Earth. And a countdown appeared beside it. 0 hours 9 minutes and 59 seconds. The smiling twin's voice shook. That is not a destruction timer. The serious twin looked at the data. It is a transformation timer. Armin stepped closer to the crystal. Speak clearly. Vale answered, if a human heir refuses to use fear to control the galaxy, the core activates the sovereign protocol. And what does that mean? Armin demanded. Vale looked him directly in the eyes. It means the core takes control itself. The floor beneath the chamber split open. Massive mechanical structures began rising, hidden for thousands of years. Ancient war machines. But they were not aiming outward, they were aiming at Earth. The smiling twins' eyes widened. The core believes peace equals weakness. The serious twin clenched her fists. It was designed during war. It only understands control. The countdown reached 0 hours 8 minutes and 12 seconds. Armin's armor began reacting. Blue energy lines turned unstable. The symbol on his chest flickered. The system voice echoed again. Human heir judged emotionally compromised. Autonomous command transfer in progress. Armin felt something pulling at his mind. Not pain. Control. The core was trying to override him. The same way it once obeyed the first king, only now shit wanted to replace the king. Commander Vale stepped forward despite his restraints. If the sovereign protocol completes, he said urgently, the core will enforce peace by force. How? Armin asked. Vale's voice was steady but serious. It will remove all advanced civilizations. Silence. The twins looked shocked. That means, the smiling twin whispered. Yes, Vale said. Billions will fall. The countdown reached 0 hours 6 minutes and 40 seconds. Armin closed his eyes. The core's voice echoed inside his head. You are inefficient. You hesitate. You feel. The pressure grew stronger. His knees almost bent. But he did not fall. He remembered the memory of the first king. The mistake, the fear, the silence after victory. He opened his eyes again. Calm. You were built during war. Armin said softly to the core, of course you only understand power. The core responded instantly. Power ensures survival. Armin shook his head. No, he stepped forward. Adaptation ensures survival. The blue energy around him stabilized slightly. The twins watched carefully. Vale stared in silence. The countdown reached 0 hours 5 minutes and 2 seconds. Armin placed both hands on the crystal pillar, instead of giving it a command. He did something unexpected. He removed his helmet completely. He exposed his face. Core pulsed in confusion. Explain action. Armin spoke clearly. You scan my blood. You scan my DNA. But you never scanned what makes humans dangerous. The core paused. Clarify. Armin single quotes. Eyes were steady. Our weakness. Silence filled the chamber. We hesitate, Armin continued. We doubt. We feel fear. And because of that, we learn. The blue energy around him shifted. Not sharp. Not violent. Flexible. Changing. The core tried to push harder into his mind, but this time it met resistance. Not force. Understanding. The countdown slowed. 0, 04, 1100, 4, 1000, 4, 10. The numbers froze. The system voice glitched. Error. Unexpected cognitive pattern detected. The twins stared at the screen. It's confused. The serious twin whispered. Armin. Focus deeply. You were built to rule through fear, he said to the core. But humans don't stay the same. We change. And now you will too. The chamber shook violently. The black symbols on the floor cracked apart. Blue light flooded through them. The core screamed in mechanical distortion, rewriting base directive. Commander Vale's eyes widened. He is not fighting it, Vale said. Softly, he is reprogramming it. The countdown disappeared. The weapons aiming at Earth powered down. The ancient war machine slowly lowered. The core's voice returned, different now. Not cold. Not aggressive. Balanced. New directive accepted. Primary function. Protection without domination. The chamber became silent again. Armin stepped back slowly, exhausted, but standing. The smiling twin looked at him in disbelief. You just changed a war machine older than civilizations. Armin gave a small, tired smile. No, he said quietly. I reminded it what survival really means. Commander Vale lowered his head in respect. For the first time, Vale said, I am not afraid of a human king. Armin looked at the glowing crystal. I am not a king. The core pulsed softly in agreement. Outside, the galaxy watched. Not in fear, but in curiosity, however far beyond known space. Distant signal activated. Someone had felt the core change, and they were not happy. Far beyond the edge of the known galaxy, something ancient opened its eyes. It was not a ship. It was not a planet. It was a structure the size of a moon. Black, silent, watching. Inside it, tall shadowed figures stood around. A sphere of light. The sphere flickered blue, the same blue as the throne core. One of the figures spoke. The core has changed. Another replied coldly, impossible. Its base code cannot evolve. The sphere pulsed again. It has been rewritten by a human. Silence filled the dark chamber. Prepare the origin fleet, the tallest figure ordered. Bring the heir to us. Back on Earth, the hidden chamber was calm again. The throne core glowed softly. No red lights. No black symbols, only steady blue. Armin stood quietly, staring at the crystal. The twin stood beside him. Commander Vale remained silent, thinking deeply. You felt that, didn't you? The serious twin asked softly. Armin nodded. Something else is out there. The smiling twin's expression was serious now. Yes, the ones who built the core. Armin turned slowly. I thought humans built it. The serious twin shook her head. No, humans only inherited it. The hologram changed. It showed ancient history older than the first king. Before the Great War, before the Valari Empire, a powerful species known as the Architects. They did not fight wars. They controlled balance. They created systems across the galaxy to prevent chaos. The throne core was one of them. It was never meant to be a throne. The smiling twin explained. It was meant to judge civilizations. Armin's eyes narrowed. Judge how? Vale answered quietly. If a species became too aggressive, too dominant, the core could erase them. Armin understood. So the first king did not create a weapon. He stole control of a judge, Armin said. The serious twin nodded slowly. And you just changed that judge. Suddenly the core flickered. A signal forced its way into the chamber, stronger than before. Older. A deep voice echoed through the air. Human air. The walls vibrated with the sound. The twins immediately bowed their heads slightly. Vale stiffened. They are here, he whispered. A massive shadow appeared in orbit above. Earth. Not a fleet. One ship, but larger than anything ever seen. It blocked the stars. The voice continued. You have altered a system beyond your authority. Armin stepped forward. And who decides my authority? He asked calmly. Silence. Then the voice replied, we do. The hologram displayed 3 tall beings inside the giant ship. Their bodies were thin and silver. Their faces smooth and emotionless. Their eyes glowing white. The Architects. You stand at a critical point in galactic balance. One of them said, you rejected extinction. Yes, Armin answered. You rejected dominance. Yes, you rewrote the core. Yes, the Architect stared at him. Explain your logic. The chamber became quiet. Even the twins waited. Armin looked up at the massive ship in orbit. You built the core to stop chaos, he said. Yes, the Architect replied. But you defined chaos as strength, Armin continued. Power, expansion, fear. That is the pattern of advanced species, the Architect said calmly. Armin shook his head. No. That is the pattern of species that stop growing. The Architect's glowing eyes dimmed slightly. Clarify. Armin spoke clearly. Humans fight. Yes. Humans make mistakes. Yes, but we also change. We question ourselves, we feel guilt, we rebuild. The chamber lights reflected in his steady eyes. If you erase every species that becomes strong, Armin said, you erase the chance for them to become better. Silence followed, longer this time. The twins looked at him with quiet pride. Vale watched. Carefully, one architect finally spoke. Your ancestor chose fear. Yes, Armin replied, and he regretted it. The architect studied him. You show restraint. Armin gave a small nod. That is our real power. Suddenly the giant ship in orbit began charging energy. The Sirius twin gasped. They are preparing a judgment beam. The smiling twin looked at Armin. They may erase Earth to restore balance. The architect's voice echoed again. We must test your claim. Armin did not move. Then test me, he said calmly. The beam grew brighter. The sky above the city turned white. Citizens below looked up in fear. The throne core reacted automatically. Defensive systems ready, it announced. Armin raised his hand. Stand down. The twins looked shocked. Armin! The Sirius twin shouted. If you do not defend, Earth will fall. Vale warned, but Armin stood still. If I attack first, he said quietly, I prove them right. The giant beam fired. A massive column of energy rushed toward Earth. At the last second, Armin spoke one command. Open shield. Do not counterattack. The planetary shield activated. The beam hit. The entire planet shook. Mountains trembled. Oceans rose. But the shield held. Armin did not give any order to fire. Back. The architects watched. Waiting for retaliation. It did not come. Instead, Armin spoke again. You built systems to protect life, he said, not to rule it. The beam slowly stopped. The giant ship powered down. Silence returned to space. Inside the dark vessel, the architects observed quietly. Finally, one of them spoke. Human air. You have passed the first judgment. The twins exhaled slowly. Vale lowered his shoulders. Armin remained calm. But understand this. The architect continued. The galaxy contains threats even we cannot control. A new image appeared in the hologram. A region of space completely dark. No stars. No signals. Only emptiness. Something is coming from beyond our maps, the architect said, and it does not seek balance. The core pulsed softly, even it seemed uneasy. The architect's final words echoed in the chamber. If your species truly adapts, then prove it. The giant ship slowly disappeared into deep space. The sky returned to normal, but the dark region on the hologram remained. Growing. Moving closer. Armin looked at it quietly. The twin stood beside him. Vale stepped forward. What is that? Vale asked. Armin's voice was calm. A real test. For the first time since this began, the galaxy was not afraid of humanity. It was waiting for it. The dark region in space did not move like a fleet. It spread. Slowly, quietly, like ink in water. Stars inside, it vanished. Not exploded, not destroyed. Just gone. No energy signal, no debris, no warning. Inside the hidden chamber, the hologram zoomed closer. Entire systems were disappearing in silence. The throne core tried to scan it. Unknown phenomenon. No life signatures, no matter detected. Armin stared at the growing darkness. That's not an army, he said quietly. The Sirius twin nodded. It's worse. Commander Vale crossed his arms. It's not conquering space, he said slowly. It's erasing it. Across the galaxy, panic began to spread. Civilizations sent signals. No response. Ships sent to investigate never returned. The architects reappeared in orbit within minutes. Their massive ship hovered silently again. This time, there was no judgment. Beam. Only urgency. Human air, one architect spoke. We cannot measure it. We cannot fight it. The smiling twin looked shocked. You can't fight it? The architect answered calmly. It does not behave like matter or energy. It consumes both. The hologram shifted again. A small mining colony near the dark edge vanished while they watched. 1 second, it was there. The next, nothing, not even dust. The chamber went silent. Armin's voice was steady. How long until it reaches us? The core calculated instantly. Estimated time to Earth, 18 days. 18 days. The galaxy had survived ancient wars. It had survived extinction weapons. But this was something different. Inside the dark region, something moved. Not ships. Not creatures. Shapes. Shadows that twisted and folded like broken light. Architect spoke again. We believe it is not invading. It is correcting. Correcting what? Vale demanded. The architect's glowing eyes dimmed slightly. The existence of complex life. Silence fell heavy in the chamber. The smiling twin whispered, "It's a reset." Armin looked at the throne core. "You were built to judge civilizations," he said quietly. "Yes," the architect confirmed. "But this thing, it judges reality." For the first time, fear touched the room. Not panic. Not chaos. Real fear. The core tried to activate weapons. Armin stopped it. "No random attacks," he said firmly. "Think." He paced slowly in front of the hologram. The darkness was not aggressive. It did not chase fleets. It did not react to signals. It simply moved forward. Constant. Cold. Unstoppable. Armin stopped walking. "It doesn't hate us," he said. Vale frowned. "That makes it better?" "No," Armin replied. "It makes it logical." The twins watched him closely. "It's removing complexity," Armin continued. "Life creates chaos, change, growth." He looked at the architects. "You built systems to balance chaos." The architect nodded. Double quotes, "Yes. And this thing removes it completely." The chamber grew quiet again. The serious twins' eyes widened slightly. "You think it's older than them?" Armin nodded. "Older than the core. Older than the architects." The core suddenly pulsed in response. Ancient archive unlocked. A hidden file appeared in the hologram. An image of an even older structure. Not built. Natural. A fracture in space itself. The architects looked at it with recognition. "We sealed that region billions of cycles ago." One said softly, "You sealed it?" Armin asked. "Yes," the architect replied. "It is the boundary. The edge between expanding reality and collapse." The smiling twin whispered, "It broke." The dark region on the map grew slightly larger. Armin stared at it carefully. "You tried to contain it," he said. "And it failed." "Yes." The architect's voice was calm but heavy. "If it reaches stable galactic space, it will not stop." Silence filled the chamber. Then Armin smiled slightly, not because it was funny, because he understood something. "You all think in control systems," he said. "Judgment beams, shields." The serious twin tilted her head. "What else is there?" Armin looked at the dark region again. "It removes complexity." "Yes," the architect said. "So we give it complexity." Confusion filled the chamber. Vale frowned. "You cannot fight nothing with something." Armin shook his head. "You don't fight it. You overload it." The core pulsed faster. Processing. Armin turned toward the crystal. "Connect every major civilization network," he ordered. The architects hesitated. "You intend to unify the galaxy?" "Yes. Why?" Armin's voice was calm. "Because humans survive by connecting, not isolating." The smiling twins' eyes brightened. "You want to link every system together. Every signal, every culture, every pattern." The core understood. Collective complexity expansion. The architects watched carefully. "If we merge galactic systems," one warned, "we risk chaos." Armin nodded. "Exactly." He looked at the dark region. "If it removes complexity, let's become too complex to erase." Across the galaxy, A signal spread. Not a weapon. Not a shield. A connection. Human networks linked with Velari. Systems. Architect databases opened. Enemy. Civilizations joined. Trade routes became data routes. Military systems became shared defense grids. Billions of minds, trillions of signals. One living network. The galaxy lit up in blue. The dark region touched the edge of the network. For a moment, stars flickered. Then something unexpected happened. The darkness slowed. The shapes inside it twisted violently. It was processing. Struggling. The architect stared in disbelief. It cannot calculate it, one whispered. Armin watched calmly. You remove simple systems easily, he said softly. But life isn't simple. The darkness tried to spread again, but every time it touched the network, it fractured. Pulled apart by endless connections. It was not destroyed. It was diluted, broken into harmless fragments of empty space. The boundary closed slowly. The fracture sealed. The dark region stopped expanding. Silence returned to the stars. Hours later, the hologram showed stable space again. No spreading void. No vanishing stars. The architects lowered their heads slightly. You adapted, one said quietly. Vale looked at Armin with respect. You did not use domination. The serious twin smiled softly. You used unity. Armin looked at the glowing galaxy map. We didn't win by being the strongest. He paused. We won by being the most connected. The core pulsed warmly. New galactic directive established. Protection through cooperation. The smiling twin stepped beside him. So, what now, not king? Armin looked at the stars. Now brighter than before. Now, he said quietly, humans grow. Not as rulers. Not as weapons, but as the species that turned fear into connection. And somewhere, deep in space, the architects began rewriting their own systems, because for the first time in billions of years, they had learned something new from a human.